Hey guys, how you doing today? It's Chris from 3-Day Weekend. I am here with the Pro XP, and it's just about at 75 hours, so I'm going to clean it off today and do a service. Been driving it through some mud, so much mud that the weight is way up. This is not supposed to be mud in between there, but there's so much that the tender springs are almost fully compressed just sitting here. It's on the trailing arms, it's on everything. She is dirty. Ew. Solid with mud there. So I'm going to take this outside, hit it with a power washer for a bit, and then start on the service. Well, that's as clean as it's gonna get with just the power washer. It doesn't look too bad. 75-hour review, nothing changed other than the original stuff I pointed out. But I've noticed that my tenders are starting to get a bit compressed. I think I have some spring sag going on. When I look at the rear, those bars are starting to get a little droopy. Now this used to be much straighter than it is now. So, I'm thinking shock therapy is in my future. We'll have to see about that. And the only other thing I've noticed, and it did it from day one, but I forgot about it, is every time you hit the gas, not every time, most of the time when you hit the gas, it makes a very loud clunk, and it's just the secondary, it's the clutch just grabbing. They all make that sound. I just forgot to point that out on the prior video. So that is pretty much it as far as review. Nothing else going wrong. Everything's still tight that I know of, but we're about to find out. Now that we have it up in the air, I'm going to do the same checks that I've done every 25 hours. It's not in the manual, but I like to check the bearings. And just do light pressure to the top, and normally you'll feel those kind of clunk if they're bad. And then a lot more pressure to check all of our radius arms and our trailing arm, but there is no clunking there. I'm also applying a lot forward to check the bushing up in the front of the trailing arm. Everything seems fine. And spin it, and I'm checking the axle boots for any holes in the inner or the outer, and we're good there. Usually you'll have some grease on the boot. That's a dead giveaway that something's going on. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to do the same thing on the front. A little pressure, feeling for the bearing. And a lot to check the bushings. Everything feels really good there. Obviously you'll have some play back and forth from your tie rods, but everything appears to be good. And then spin it around. Make sure there's no holes in the boots, inner and outer. That looks good. And then since we're right here, turning the wheel slightly, just checking that coupler for the steering, making sure that there's no play. And then we're looking at the boots on the rack to make sure there are no tears in that either. If you catch it now, you might be able to save it and not have to replace your rack later on. Next up is brake pad inspection. You can see on the front without taking the wheel off, but you can't really see the back. Oh, maybe you can see it through one of the holes if you line it up just right. But I'm just gonna pop all the wheels off, check them the right way, do it once. I'll just show you on the front one. It's the same for all four. But we're just looking in here, make sure there's good pad on both sides. And I also like to check the rotor, make sure there's no huge grooves or anything like that. There'll be a little bit uneven, but nothing major. That feels really good. So I'm gonna put the tires back on. Next is the fuel system check. I have the ignition on, so it's charged. If you see that blue connector, that is the fuel line, and it comes out and it goes that way. No wet spots or anything. We're just looking for leaks or rubs or scrapes. And then from there, you can see it comes down. It goes behind these guys. And it's held in position there. A couple of clamps. Looks good. Then we go up and around, and it's held in by another clamp back here. And then it goes up. It kind of comes close to this metal, but it's not touching. And up to this here. And then it goes back through to the fuel rail up on top of the engine. And you can see the end of the fuel rail a little better on the side. This is the end of the fuel rail there. So no leaks on the fuel system. Next is the battery, which is under the seat. You see the connections, or the terminals right there. I just want to make sure those are clean, tight, and it says to test the battery, but you should know if your battery's got issues by now, so I'm not going to bother testing it. But I guess if you don't, you could find yourself stranded someday because your battery let out. Hopefully you got good friends. Front differential time. We've got our 8mm hex, and we're just going to pull the plug right here. Make sure that it's filled up to the bottom of that. I just pulled the plug out and found that the fluid is low. I don't see any. Not sure what that's all about. I don't have any marks below the output shafts on either side, so it's not leaking out of a output. The input's right there, and it's dry on the input. I don't know why it would be low, so I'm going to put a little bit in. I wonder how much it's going to take. These take Polaris demand drive fluid. Fed it with a syringe, because that thing is in there. Holy cow. It took about 1.5 ounces. I'll look it up, but I think it takes 9-ish ounces. So there's some in there for sure. It bothers me that, where did it go? I don't know, but 1.5 ounces. Good thing we check, huh? I did look it up, and it does take 9.5 ounces. So it was down to 8 ounces. So, I mean, shouldn't be in bad shape, but I wish it wasn't low. So we'll get that cap back on, and we'll go to the next step. The next step is the rear transmission fluid level check. Same thing, 8mm hex. That cap's nice and clean, and just like the front, it should be up to the fill line. And I can't see it either. Oh, yep, I can see it. It's up to the fill line, so we're okay in the rear. The next step of the 75-hour service is to change the oil, which takes a 6mm hex. This one, the one that's missing, I just let my wife borrow. Wouldn't you know it? So I might have to go help. Dilemmas. I'll be right back. Good news. I got it. So, we can carry on. Oil plug is right up in this hole. 6mm. And, bear with me. Man, those are on there tight. Once you crack them loose, they come off by hand. Ah, there you go. Now, there should be a washer on this, so make sure you keep track of that. We'll come back when it is done draining. Got my washer, and we will stick her back in the hole. Should thread in nice and easy. And you just torque it down with your wrench. Okay, oil filter. Move your drain pan up to the forward hole. That one. Because the oil is going to drain through it. And the filter is located right there. Check out my other video, the 25-hour service video. I show in detail how to remove and replace that filter. This is the kit we're running to replace it. Make note of that oil filter, 2520799. And the kit comes with 3 quarts of oil, even though we're only going to use 2 3/4. And comes with brand new 2520799. Same with cars. Before you put the filter on, go ahead and lubricate that gasket. And this one does not go in vertically, so unfortunately we cannot pre-fill the oil filter. New filter is in, and in order to put new stuff in, we got to take the trunk out, so I'm gonna take it off the lift. Back on the ground. So, trunk saps come out. It's just a matter of pulling all these quick release anchors. Pull those out. 4 screws. There. And this whole thing pops out. Phew! Got them out. Probably easier to take it out if it were empty. It's got chainsaws and stuff. Those are toe straps, kind of heavy. And the box comes out, and you're left with this. So here's our oil fill. I'm gonna put 2 3/4 in there, and then make sure it is at the right level. Exactly 2 3/4 quarts of oil are in there. I just ran it for 30 seconds, and now we are waiting 2 minutes to check the oil level, which is down in here. This guy. So we'll flip that up as soon as 2 minutes are over. I just checked the oil. It was exactly in the middle of safe, and that was 2 3/4. There's some debate on if they could take all 3 quarts or not. And based on its position, I don't know, it's possible. I'm not gonna experiment on my machine, but I'm wondering if that 3 1/4 quart more would bring it up and still be in the safe mark. But I'll leave that up to you guys. I see the debates all the time on the forum, but let it go. In the meantime, I gotta put the trunks back in. Alright, last part, we need to reset the service counter. We do that by holding mode. I'm sorry this doesn't show up great on my screen here. We're gonna go up to service hours. We're gonna hit mode on that. And I'm gonna change that back to 25. And then we can go to exit. And our service is reset. Where is it? Service, 25 hours. If you have ride command, you can reset your service interval here as well. Set your Polaris button, go to all settings, go to vehicle, oil life, service, reset. And there it is. And you can also change your service interval there. So we are done. Thank you so much for watching. If you feel like I earned it, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe to our channel over here. I really appreciate your view, and we will see you on the next video. Take care.